The galaxy was wide and full of stars, but for humans it was filled with orders and demands. Day after day, the alien empire demanded more from Earth, more metals, more fuel, more food, more soldiers. The humans worked in the fields, in the factories, and in the mines of distant colonies. They gave and gave. But still the aliens called it not enough. The aliens ruled from tall ships with bright banners, their voices cold, their eyes filled with pride. To them, humans were only useful hands, never equals, never partners, just tools to use and throw away. At first, humans obeyed. It was easier to stay quiet, easier to avoid the whip and the chains, but anger grew in whispers and quiet talks in the shadows of factories. In the silent nods of miners, people began to ask, why do we keep giving? Why do they keep taking? Why are humans always treated as less? The whisper of rebellion began to move like fire under the skin of the colonies. On the mining world of Vera, where dark skies always rumbled with storms, a human captain named Elias was called before the alien overseer. The overseer was tall, his skin like glass, his eyes sharp like knives. He demanded that Elias and his workers dig deeper, work longer, give more ore to fill the empire's endless hunger. Elias stood in silence for a long moment. The workers behind him waited, their hands trembling, their faces tired from years of labor. Then Elias said one word that shook them all. No. The alien laughed, a hard, sharp laugh that echoed in the metal hall. He looked at Elias like one looks at a weak insect. His voice was cruel. Humans are pets. You bark, you fetch, you obey. Do not pretend you can say no. The overseer turned his back, waving his hand as if Elias was nothing. But his words, his laugh, his pride, it planted something deeper in the hearts of the workers. Later that night, the workers gathered in the old storage hall. They whispered around dim lights. Elias spoke with a voice low but firm. He told them of the endless demands, the endless taking, he said. If we keep bowing, we will bow forever. If we keep giving, they will take until nothing is left. We are more than tools, more than pets. We are human. His words struck their hearts. They had heard whispers before, but never someone so bold, never someone standing. Without fear, across the colonies, stories began to spread. They traveled faster than ships, passed by word of mouth, by secret radio signals, by coded letters. Stories of a captain who said no, stories of humans who dared to refuse, and in every place where the story reached, heads lifted, eyes grew sharper, voices whispered louder. But the aliens still did not care. They still saw humans as nothing. When a freighter ship from Earth arrived at Vera, the alien guards climbed aboard. They took food, medicine, and fuel, leaving almost nothing for the human crew. The captain of the freighter lowered his eyes, his fists tight, but he said nothing. Yet when he left, he carried with him the story of Elias, the story of refusal, the story of the word no. On Earth itself, the high towers of the alien governor shone bright against the night. Inside, reports came in of small delays, of missing shipments, of humans working slower. The governor waved them aside. He thought it was laziness. Nothing more. He could not hear the whispers. He could not feel the storm building everywhere, in the colonies, in the farms, in the factories. The question began to grow. How long can we stay silent? How long can we obey? When will it be enough? Humans looked at the stars. They saw alien warships in the sky. They saw chains on their own arms. And still, something inside them whispered, not forever. On Vera, one boy stood in the dust outside the mines. He had heard the overseer call his people pets. He had seen Elias refuse, and in his small chest, he felt something burning. He whispered the word to himself, soft at first, then louder, enough. He looked at the sky where alien ships drifted like shadows, and his heart pounded with a new fire. The aliens thought they had broken human spirit, but they had only pressed too hard. They thought obedience would last forever, but every insult, every demand, every laugh at human weakness, it was not breaking them, it was sharpening them. And in the silence of the night, in the corners of colonies across the stars, humans began to whisper one word that would change everything. Enough. The freighter ship called Aurora was a small and tired vessel, its engines old, its hull covered in scars from years of travel. It carried food and medicine for human colonies, goods meant to help families survive. When it crossed the border of alien space, a warship appeared, black and wide like a shadow in the stars. The alien commander ordered the Aurora to stop. The crew froze. They knew what would happen. Every human knew. The aliens would take what they wanted. The crew would be left with scraps, sometimes with nothing at all. The captain of the Aurora, a man named Joran, had followed orders his whole life. He bowed his head when aliens shouted. He gave when they demanded. But tonight was different. Tonight the story of Elia still rang in his ears, the story of a human who dared to say no. The alien soldiers boarded the freighter, their boots heavy on the metal floors. They sneered at the human crew, calling them weak, calling them slow. They moved through the cargo hold, seizing crates, breaking open containers, laughing as they spilled food on the floor. A soldier lifted a box of medicine and tossed it aside, saying it was wasted on humans. Joran clenched his fists. His crew watched him, their eyes wide. They waited for his order. For years he had always told them to stay silent, to keep their heads down. But his silence now felt like poison in his throat. He remembered Elias on Vera. He remembered the word enough. When the alien commander stepped onto the bridge of the Aurora, his voice was sharp. This ship is empty now. You may leave, go back to your dirt world and bring more next time. He turned his back, certain no human would resist, certain no human would ever dare. Joran's hand moved slowly to a hidden panel under the console. Years ago, humans had smuggled weapons into freighters, a desperate plan never used, a secret carried in silence. His fingers pressed the switch, and for the first time the freighter came alive with hidden strength. Cannons slid from the hull, small but deadly. The aliens on board froze. The commander spun around, his eyes wide. Joran's voice was steady. No more, he said. Then he pressed the trigger. The cannons roared. Beams of light tore through the dark. The alien warship shuddered under the sudden fire. Alarms screamed across the void. The alien soldiers inside the freighter panicked. Some tried to fight, but the human crew struck with tools and hidden rifles. The halls shook as the two ships clashed. For minutes that felt like hours, the battle raged. The Aurora was smaller, weaker, but its crew fought with something stronger than steel. They fought with fury, with fire in their hearts. The alien warship tried to crush them, but the freighter dodged through the dark, weaving between blasts, using speed and surprise. Then, the moment came. The Aurora turned hard, its cannons burning bright. A final strike tore into the alien ship's core. The warship broke apart in a thunder of fire, pieces spinning into the endless black. For the first time in years, human eyes saw alien wreckage floating, silent and broken. The crew stood on the bridge, their chests heaving, sweat on their faces. They had done the impossible. The Aurora was damaged. Smoke filled its halls, but it was still alive. Joran looked at his crew. He saw fear, but he also saw something new, something bright. We fought, he said, his voice rough, and we won. News of the battle spread like lightning, faster than ships, faster than orders. Human voices carried it from station to station, from world to world. They spoke of the freighter that destroyed a warship, of the captain who said no, of the crew who fought back. In bars on forgotten colonies, men lifted their cups and whispered the story. In mining camps, workers smiled for the first time in years in hidden bunkers. Leaders leaned closer to their maps and whispered, maybe it was possible, maybe humans could fight. The aliens roared in anger when they heard. Commanders struck their soldiers. Governors shouted at each other. How could a freighter, a simple human cargo ship, destroy one of their warships? They called it luck. They called it a mistake, but behind their voices there was a shadow of fear. On Earth, in the crowded streets where banners of the Empire hung heavy, people walked with their heads a little higher. Children whispered of ships in the stars, of humans who fought and did not bow. The word spread through every corner, through every heart. Enough. Joran sat in the captain's chair of the Aurora, his ship limping back to port, his crew tired but alive. He knew the war had not truly begun. He knew the Empire would come for them, harder and stronger. But he also knew something had changed, something that could never be undone. The first spark had been lit. The darkness of silence was breaking, and in the endless night of the galaxy, a fire had begun to burn. A fire called humanity. And it would not be put out. The galaxy was not quiet after the battle of the freighter. Aurora, the wreck of the alien warship, floated in space like a scar. Every trader, every miner, every wanderer who passed by told the story. The Empire tried to hide it. They called it an accident. They said the warship's engine failed. But humans knew the truth. Humans whispered that one freighter had fought back and won. On the hidden stations where human leaders met. The story was more than hope, it was a call. Men and women who had lived in silence for years now gathered around O, their voices low, their faces lit by the glow of screens. They spoke of rebellion not in dreams but in plans. Ships that had been abandoned in scrapyards were listed by name. Officers once retired were called again. Secret codes flashed across. Space humans were gathering. In the dark dockyards of Titan under the frozen storms, engineers worked in silence. Broken ships were pulled from the ice and repaired, their rust scraped away, their engines rebuilt. Men and women who had once fixed farming machines now built weapons. Pilots who once carried cargo now trained in combat drills. In the shadows of the hangars, they whispered to each other, "The aliens think we are weak, they will see." But the aliens were not blind. They felt the air shift. They heard the slow rise of human defiance in their halls of stone and steel. Governors laughed, but their eyes were hard. They ordered more patrols, more raids, more chains. They believed if they pressed harder, humans would break. They had pressed humans for generations. They had no idea that the breaking point had already passed. On the colony of Velran, alien guards stormed into a factory. Demanding higher quotas, they shouted at the workers, striking them with rods, but instead of bowing, the workers stood still, their hands clenched, their eyes cold. They did not fight, not yet, but they did not lower their heads. The guards sensed it, the silence heavier than words. Across the stars, humans began to gather in secret councils. They met in the backs of warehouses, in the bunkers beneath farms, even in the empty shells of abandoned ships. They spoke of strategy, they spoke of numbers, they spoke of hope. Old captains taught young pilots, old soldiers passed down their knowledge. The whispers turned to voices, the voices to plans. One night in a hidden asteroid base, a young woman named Mara stood before a group of fighters. She had been a pilot for transport ships carrying food and supplies. Now she wore a worn flight suit patched with old cloth. Her eyes burned with fire. "We will not win with strength alone," she said. "Their ships are bigger, their guns are stronger, but we are faster, we are smarter, we are human, and we will not bow." Her words carried through the cold hall, and the fighters raised their hands, ready to fly. Ships began to vanish from alien records. Old freighters disappeared from ports. Mining shuttles never returned. The Empire thought it was smuggling, but in hidden docks these ships were being reborn. Weapons were fitted where cargo once lay. Armor plates welded over thin hulls. Engines tuned to run hotter and faster. The fleet of rebellion was being forged in silence. On Earth itself, the alien governor paced in his tall tower. Reports came in of missing goods, of humans working slower, of freighters gone astray. He dismissed them with a sneer. "They are weak," he said to his advisors. "They make noise, but noise is nothing. When we strike them, they will kneel." He did not know that humans were no longer kneeling. In the mines of Vera, Elias watched as workers carved messages into the walls, not with tools, but with their hands, scratched words that glowed faintly under the dim lights, one word repeated, again and again, enough. It was not only a word now, it was a symbol, a flame that traveled faster than any ship. The aliens still laughed, still believed themselves untouchable, but small things began to change. Patrols reported humans staring at them with steady eyes instead of fear. Supply stations grew quiet when alien officers entered. No one bowed. As deeply as before in the silence, the aliens felt something they had not felt in centuries: unease. In space, far from alien cities, the first human fleet began to take shape. Small, broken, patched together, but alive. Ships floated in hidden orbit, their lights dimmed, their signals masked. Captains spoke to each other over secure lines, their voices steady. "We are ready," they said. "We wait only for the time." And in every colony, every settlement, every forgotten outpost, humans looked up at the stars and wondered when the first fire would blaze again. They wondered when the silence would end. The freighter Aurora had lit the spark, but the storm was still gathering. The Empire believed it was safe. The governors slept in their tall towers. The admirals drank in their bright halls. They did not see the workers in the shadows. They did not see the ships rising from the dust. They did not hear the voices growing stronger. The galaxy was waiting. The humans were waiting. And the storm was coming. A storm of steel and fire. A storm called war. And at its heart was one simple truth whispered again and again. Enough. The first strike was not loud. It was quiet. Almost invisible. A shadow in the vast darkness of space. Human ships moved between asteroid fields, weaving in and out of debris, their engines humming low. Trained pilots guided them with care, their hands steady on controls, each ship carrying a handful of fighters, weapons, and hope. They were small, fragile, yet full of fire. In the orbit of Rylos Prime, a mining colony under strict alien rule, alarm screamed as human ships appeared from nowhere. Beams of light flashed across the black, cutting the silence. Alien drones tried to respond, but the humans were faster. They moved with precision, striking at communication towers, supply hubs, and weapon depots. The aliens had no idea the humans knew their weaknesses. The surprise was total. On the command bridge of the alien cruiser Vorax, Admiral Threx watched as systems failed one by one. His claws slammed on the console, red lights flashing in warning. "Impossible," he hissed. "They should not reach this far." The crew scrambled, but panic was a new thing. Panic among the Empire was rare, but now it spread. Back on the surface of Rylos Prime, humans moved. Like ghosts, they did not shout. They did not run. They struck quickly, taking out patrols, freeing imprisoned workers. Humans worked with their old instincts, their minds sharp, their hearts burning. Small groups moved in perfect coordination, each action calculated, each step precise. In one narrow alley, Mara led a team to destroy a supply hub. The building glowed with energy lines. Alien soldiers patrolled outside, but Mara did not hesitate. She signaled, and her team split silently, taking positions. Laser cutters hummed. Doors melted in seconds. Alarms blared too late. The humans were already gone before the first guards could react. The explosion was small but perfect, a spark in the darkness. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other humans took action. Mining stations rose in rebellion. Ships docked in secret bays became mobile. Weapons hidden in crates now found their place. Engineers worked with careful hands. Pilots trained in old manuals. Tactics passed down from forgotten wars. Humans were turning their survival skills into a weapon. Each colony a node in the growing network. The aliens tried to respond. Fleets launched from their strongholds. But humans had already calculated their moves. Ambushes waited in asteroid belts. Small ships with heavy firepower struck first and vanished. Alien ships exploded in bursts of flame. Debris scattered across the black. The Empire's confidence cracked like glass. In the Council of Human Leaders, old generals and young pilots gathered over holographic maps plotting the next attacks, their faces lit with determination. One general, old and gray, spoke. "We cannot stop now. The galaxy has waited too long. The Empire underestimated us, but we have the advantage of surprise and the courage of everyone who has suffered." His words echoed, giving courage to every pilot listening. On the surface of Kepler Station, a young fighter named Jalen watched alien ships arrive. His hands trembling for a moment, then he steadied himself. The fear was gone, replaced with focus. He knew he was part of something larger, something that could not fail. His squad fired, small cannons striking shields. Alien soldiers were forced back. Humans moved forward step by step, inch by inch. In the alien capital, panic spread through the streets. Citizens watched smoke rise from supply hubs. The Empire's enforcers tried to calm them, but whispers traveled faster than commands. Humans were striking everywhere. The Empire's control weakened. The people realized the unthinkable. Humans were fighting back. Humans could win. In orbit above the capital, Mara's ship weaved through fire and debris. Her eyes sharp, her hands moving with instinct, she guided her team past turrets and drones, every movement a test of skill and courage. Behind her, her crew followed without question, their trust in each other absolute. They were humans fighting for humanity, not for power, not for glory. The strikes continued for hours, then days. Humans did not pause. They were not reckless, but relentless. Every attack aimed to weaken, to free, to survive. Alien ships were destroyed, supply chains broken, soldiers forced to retreat, the Empire's confidence shattered. In a quiet moment, Mara looked at the stars, the black dotted with distant suns. She thought of Earth, of her home, of every human who had lived under fear. She thought of the first spark, the freighter Aurora, and smiled. The war was just beginning, but humans had already taken the first step. And somewhere in the vast empire, Admiral Threx sat in his command chair. Silence around him now. The alarms quiet for a moment, and he realized the truth that humans had always known. The humans had crossed the line. They had said enough, and now nothing could stop the storm. The galaxy would burn, and every star would know the name of humanity. The humans did not celebrate. They did not shout. They moved forward, every victory a whisper, every step a promise. And across the stars, the Empire learned a lesson it had forgotten long ago. Humans were not weak. Humans were not to be controlled. Humans fought back, and they fought with everything they had. The war had ignited, not with a roar, but with a spark. Small, precise, human, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The war had spread like fire through the outer systems, human ships darting between asteroids, weaving through fields of debris, their engines humming softly, each vessel carrying a handful of determined fighters. Every pilot aware of the stakes, every crew member ready to risk everything. They were small against the Empire, but their strategy was precise, their courage unmatched. In the orbit of Calix Prime, human scouts detected an alien convoy transporting weapons and supplies. Mara led the strike team, her eyes scanning the holographic map, her fingers moving across the controls. The plan was simple but dangerous. Hit hard, hit fast, disappear before the enemy could respond. The convoy moved through a narrow corridor of space. Perfect for an ambush, Jalen, in his fighter, followed Mara's lead, his heart pounding with excitement and fear. This was the first time he would engage such a large target. Lasers primed, engines ready. He remembered the words of the old general. Trust your instincts, trust your crew, and the universe will bend to your courage. The words echoed in his mind as he adjusted his course. The humans struck with silence, their small ships appearing out of nowhere, beams of light cutting. Through the black, the convoy was caught off guard. Alien vessels scrambled, shields flaring as they tried to respond, but human tactics were unpredictable. Fighters split into small groups, flanking from every angle, a wave of controlled chaos. In one ship, Mara directed her crew. Now, focus on the lead vessel, she commanded, and her team fired. Missiles streaking through space, explosions rocking the convoy. Alien soldiers shouted over comms. Confusion spreading. Some ships collided, others veered off course. The humans moved like shadows, unseen until the moment of strike. Jalen fired his cannons at the supply pods, cutting them loose. They drifted into space, exploding harmlessly. Alien reinforcements tried to respond, but the humans were already gone, weaving between asteroids, using the environment to their advantage, every pilot acting in sync, every maneuver rehearsed, yet appearing spontaneous. Meanwhile, on the surface of Calix Prime, human ground teams moved through abandoned factories, taking control of strategic points. Alien patrols were disoriented by the sudden strikes in orbit. The humans advanced steadily, capturing weapons, freeing prisoners, and sabotaging infrastructure. Every action designed to weaken the Empire without unnecessary loss. In the command center of the alien fleet, alarms screamed. red lights flashing across consoles. Admiral Threx clenched his claws, frustration and anger boiling inside him. He could not understand how humans were striking with such precision, how they knew the weak points of his fleet. Every plan he issued failed before it even began. Back, in the asteroid field, Mara's team regrouped, silent but aware of the victory. The convoy destroyed, the supplies gone, the alien response delayed, small ships floating among rocks, engines idling, fighters exchanging nods through their visors. Pride and relief in their eyes, they had struck another blow, another step toward freedom. On the other side of the galaxy, other human cells carried out synchronized attacks. Mining stations became bases for sudden strikes. Transport ships hijacked and turned into weapons. Engineers worked quickly to upgrade old vessels, making them deadly in the hands of skilled pilots. The network of human resistance grew stronger every day. Jalen felt a rush as he watched an alien warship explode in the distance, fire and debris scattering across the void. The smell of smoke and metal filled his senses through the sealed cabin. He knew that each victory counted. Each step forward mattered. Humanity was showing the galaxy that they were not to be underestimated. In the alien capital, panic grew among civilians and soldiers alike. News of the human strikes traveled faster than the Empire's control. Whispers of rebellion and resistance spread through the streets. Fear replaced confidence. The idea of human power and determination became real, unstoppable, and the Empire could not hide from it. Mara's ship moved through the debris field, avoiding scattered wrecks, her eyes scanning for danger, every shadow a potential threat. But the humans had learned to move with stealth and patience, to strike without warning, and to vanish before retaliation could come. They were the storm. Now, the unpredictability that the Empire feared. On a distant moon, Jalen and a small squad landed to disable an alien communications relay, laser cutters in hand. They worked silently, carefully dismantling the system, knowing that every signal they destroyed gave human ships a greater advantage. Every small victory multiplied across the network, weakening the Empire in ways it could not predict. In orbit above, Mara watched the stars, calm but vigilant. The war was far from over, the human fleet small, fragile, yet burning with the fire of survival and justice. The Empire underestimated them. But every strike, every maneuver, every brave act reminded Mara why humans could never be controlled, never defeated easily. As they regrouped, messages came from other human teams, reports of successful strikes, freed prisoners, captured ships and sabotage. The coordination amazed them, the network of humans moving across the galaxy like veins of fire. Each act a heartbeat of resistance, every person playing a part in the grand design. Admiral Threx paced in his chamber, claws gripping the rails, rage and fear twisting in his chest. Humans were not just surviving, they were attacking, they were planning, they were winning. The Empire's control slipping like sand through fingers, and he realized the unthinkable. The humans were not just fighting, they were changing the rules of war. Mara smiled quietly, knowing that the spark had grown into a flame. Humans were finally saying enough. The war was no longer about survival. It was about reclaiming their place. Every strike a message, every battle a lesson. The galaxy would remember this day. The humans had begun, and they would not stop. The night sky was filled with stars, explosions far and near, a symphony of fire and courage, human ships moving steadily, silently, with purpose. The Empire's fleet reeling, human hearts united, the battle continuing, and the war just beginning. The galaxy trembled as news of human victory spread like wildfire. Small colonies sending signals of hope, resistance, and determination. Mara's fleet moved through the dark expanse, silent but deadly, each ship carrying the weight of countless lives, every pilot knowing that this fight could decide the fate of humanity. In the orbit of Soren Station, Jalen's squad prepared for another mission, scanners picking up alien patrols circling the station, weapons loaded, engines humming softly, tension thick in the cabin. Mara's voice came over comms, steady and calm. Remember your training. Trust your instincts. Move as one. Strike. Hard and disappear. The words sank deep into each pilot, fueling focus and courage. The humans struck before the aliens even knew they were there. Boarding pods released from the stealth ships, gliding toward the station, silent shadows against the cold metal. Alarms barely sounded before fighters appeared, cutting through defenses with precise bursts of fire. Alien crews shouted, trying to respond, but confusion ruled. Every human move calculated, deliberate, deadly. Inside the station, Jalen and his team moved through corridors, careful not to alert the main control center, every corner hiding potential danger, every step a test of nerves. The aliens had built strong defenses, but humans had patience, understanding, and courage. The combination that no machine could match. They planted explosives in strategic locations, disabling power grids, communication arrays, and weapon turrets. On the surface of the station, Mara coordinated the strike from orbit, her eyes on the holographic displays, tracking every movement, every vessel. Jalen, clear the eastern wing. Mara out, he whispered, signaling his team. Doors hissed open, smoke filling the corridors, alarms blaring now. But humans moved fast, silent and deadly, leaving chaos in their wake. Alien soldiers regrouped, trying to mount a counterattack. But the humans were already gone from sight, teleporting to another corridor, another sector. Their movements unpredictable, strikes precise. Every explosion a message to the Empire. Every victory a step closer to freedom. The aliens could not predict them, could not stop them. The humans had learned the art of war from necessity and courage. In orbit, human warships fired on incoming alien reinforcements, beams of light cutting through space, engines flaring as the fleet maneuvered, small vessels darting around massive alien cruisers, missiles streaking past shields, exploding in bursts of fire and debris. Mara smiled, seeing the effect of coordinated attacks. Each strike a symphony of destruction and strategy. Jalen's squad reached the command center of the station, encountering a squad of alien defenders. Shots fired, blaster beams reflecting off walls, sparks flying. Humans pressed forward, moving with skill and precision. The aliens faltered under pressure, their coordination breaking one by one, systems failing, humans taking control, and the victory tasted sweeter with every step. Meanwhile, in the heart of the station, a hidden human cell had hacked into the central database, downloading critical intelligence, secret maps, fleet movements, weapon schematics. Every byte a weapon in the fight ahead. Mara monitored progress from orbit, knowing that the information gained would guide future strikes, allowing humans to outmaneuver the Empire at every turn. Outside, the battle continued, alien reinforcements arriving too late, human ships already gone, weaving through asteroid belts, hiding in debris, striking again when the moment was perfect. The galaxy watching in awe as humanity, small yet fearless, struck with precision, turning the tide of a war that had seemed impossible. Every move a testament to strategy and bravery. Jalen and his squad planted the last charges, retreating quickly. Corridors shaking as explosions erupted, systems shutting down. Alien morale crumbling. The station crippled, but human lives spared. Every decision calculated to hit the Empire hard without unnecessary loss. Every action a step toward reclaiming freedom. Mara's fleet gathered near the station, regrouping, pilots exchanging nods through visors, pride and relief evident. The mission a success? The aliens stunned, their confidence shaken. The humans had struck again, and the message was clear. Humanity would not bow, would not surrender, and the war had changed. In a distant command center, Admiral Threck seethed, monitors showing destruction and failure, his fleet's pride in ruins, human attacks proving too clever, too fast, too unpredictable. He realized that brute strength alone could not defeat them. Every plan thwarted, every move countered. The humans had become the storm, unstoppable and relentless. Back on board Mara's flagship, reports came in from other human cells, successful raids, captured supplies, prisoners freed, communications disrupted, every act coordinated, spreading chaos among the Empire. The humans were no longer fighting for survival alone. They were leading a galaxy-wide revolution, small victories forming a wave that could not be stopped. Jalen looked out through his cockpit window, stars shining cold and distant, but he felt warmth in his chest, the pride of being part of something greater, something that mattered. Humans had learned to fight not just with weapons, but with heart, courage, and unity. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that mistake was costly. Mara's voice cut through comms again, calm and determined. All teams, return to regroup point, prepare for next strike. The Empire will retaliate, but we will be ready. Humans do not run, humans do not hide. Humans strike back with everything they have. Her words spread determination through every pilot, every soldier, every human heart connected by the same fire. As the night of battle faded into the cold void, the humans held their ground, proud, resilient, unstoppable. Mara knew that the war was far from over, but every victory, every clever maneuver, every act of bravery strengthened the resolve of humanity. They had proven they could stand against impossible odds, and the galaxy would never forget. The stars witnessed the rise of a human storm, silent, calculated, yet fierce, moving through darkness with precision, leaving destruction for those who oppressed and hope for those who resisted. Humanity was no longer a small voice in the galaxy. It was a force, united, fearless, and ready to fight until the very end. The galaxy was on edge, every star system holding its breath as human fleets moved with silent purpose. Mara's flagship, cutting through the void like a blade, engines flaring softly, lights blinking in rhythm with life aboard. Every crew member aware that the Empire would strike back hard, faster, and with more fury than before. Jalen's squad was assigned a critical mission, a deep strike into enemy territory to disrupt supply lines, prevent reinforcements from reaching the front, and gather intelligence on new weapon deployments. Each pilot went through final checks, double-checking weapons, shields, and navigation systems, their nerves tight, but their resolve stronger. As they approached the designated system, sensors picked up multiple alien warships moving in formation, patrols scanning the darkness. The squad moved with careful stealth, hugging asteroid belts, using debris fields as cover, every movement calculated, every second precious. Mara's voice came over comms, calm but firm. Stay sharp, move as one, trust your training, and strike without hesitation. The humans launched their attack just as the aliens noticed them, missiles streaking across space, beams of light cutting through darkness, alien vessels scrambling, trying to form a defense, but human tactics were unpredictable, coordinated, precise. The small fighters darting in and out of heavy cruisers, striking weak points and vanishing before counterfire could hit. On the surface of the largest enemy ship, Jalen's boarding team teleported through the hull, finding themselves in a maze of corridors, alien technology humming around them, guards patrolling in tight formations. But humans moved faster, silent, deadly, neutralizing threats before alarms could fully sound, each step forward bringing them closer to the control hub. Mara monitored the operation from orbit, tracking every movement, her fleet ready to intervene if needed, beams cutting off alien escape routes, targeting engines and weapons, creating chaos inside and out. The humans had become shadows, striking where it hurt most, leaving no time for recovery. And the alien commanders could only watch helplessly as their plans unraveled. Jalen's team reached the control hub, encountering heavy resistance, aliens firing wildly, but humans adapted, using the environment to their advantage, smoke, sparks, and explosions masking movement. They hacked the main systems, disabling shields, redirecting weapons, and opening hangars for Mara's fleet to finish the destruction from orbit. Outside, space became a battlefield. Explosions lighting the darkness, alien warships trying to regroup. But the humans had cut off reinforcements, every move coordinated, like a deadly dance. Mara's fleet hitting targets with precision, small fighters striking with speed, and larger cruisers delivering heavy blows where needed. The alien forces falling apart under pressure. Jalen's squad planted explosives in the command hub, retreating quickly, corridors shaking as charges detonated, systems failing, alarms blaring too late to save the ship. The aliens' morale shattered, their coordination gone. Mara's fleet moved in to destroy the remaining vessels, leaving nothing but wreckage and silence, the victory complete, but the war far from over. As they regrouped in a nearby asteroid field, humans counted the gains, supplies captured, intelligence gathered, prisoners rescued, and enemy ships destroyed. each success fueling determination, every life saved strengthening resolve. The galaxy began to see a new power rising. Humanity was no longer just surviving. They were fighting to dominate and protect. Reports came in from other sectors: human raids successful, supply lines disrupted, colonies freed from occupation, the Empire reeling, unable to respond quickly. To the scattered and precise attacks, humans were everywhere and nowhere, unpredictable, relentless, and growing stronger with every mission. Mara smiled, knowing the strategy was working. Humanity was awakening to its full potential. Jalen looked out of the cockpit, stars shining cold and distant, but in their light he felt hope and pride. Humans had become more than fighters. They were symbols of resistance, unity, and courage. No matter how advanced or numerous the Empire's forces, the humans found ways to fight back, to win, and to survive. Each victory building on the last, Mara's voice broke through. All teams, maintain formation, prepare for extraction. The Empire will retaliate, but we will be ready. Every human must remember this. The galaxy underestimates us at its peril. The message resonated with every soldier, every pilot, reminding them that the fight was ongoing, but victory was possible with courage, skill, and unity. As the humans moved back toward friendly territory, the alien Empire's forces were left in disarray. Command centers destroyed, ships lost, morale shattered. Every victory proving that the humans could strike with intelligence and courage. No longer just survivors. They were warriors, leaders, and liberators, their legends spreading faster than the fastest ships. Jalen's squad returned to Mara's flagship, weary but triumphant, each member knowing that today's mission had changed. The course of the war, supplies secured, intelligence valuable for upcoming strikes, and the Empire now cautious, fearful of the human resolve. The galaxy slowly shifting in favor of humanity. Mara addressed her fleet. Every victory, every act of bravery, every plan executed with precision shows the Empire that humans will not bow, will not surrender, and will fight for every star, every colony, and every life. Her words inspired, reminding every human that they were part of something greater than themselves, a wave of courage rising through the galaxy. In the distance, alien commanders conferred, panic and frustration evident. The humans had outsmarted them repeatedly, showing that bravery, intelligence, and unity could defeat even the most advanced forces. The war was far from over, but the momentum had shifted, humanity now leading, and the Empire would need more than force to stop them. As the fleet disappeared into the darkness, ready for the next mission, the galaxy watched, and humans knew one truth. The fight had only begun, but together they were unstoppable, fearless, and united. The war for freedom had a new face, and it was human. ChatGPT said, "The human fleet moved silently through the blackness of space, every ship tense, every crew ready for whatever came next. Mara's flagship led the formation, engines glowing like molten silver, lights reflecting off distant asteroids, the silence broken only by the soft hum of life support systems and distant comms chatter. Every soldier knew this mission could change the war forever. Jalen's squad tightened formation, scanners sweeping the area for enemy activity. Reports coming in from scouts showed alien fleets regrouping near the Orion Rift, a dangerous nebula. Known for its storms and gravity distortions, Mara studied the data, calculating odds and possibilities, knowing that striking now could cripple the Empire's ability to respond for months. As they entered the nebula, the ships shuddered under sudden gravitational waves, sensors flickering, communications momentarily disrupted. The crew gritted, their teeth adapting quickly, human engineers rerouting power to stabilize shields, pilots adjusting trajectories with skill born from years of training. Every movement critical, every second counted. From the flagship, Mara observed alien movements, noticing patterns in their formations, weak points in their coordination. She gave orders calmly. "Jalen, take your squad through the lower corridor. Use the gravity eddies to mask your approach. Strike their supply cruisers first. We cannot let reinforcements reach the front." Jalen acknowledged, the plan clear and dangerous but achievable. Inside the nebula, human ships became shadows among clouds of ionized gas. beams of light cutting through misty darkness, alien sensors struggling to detect movement. Humans moved like ghosts, silent, precise, leaving destruction only after their attacks were complete. Supply cruisers exploded in fireballs, alien morale beginning to crumble under pressure. Jalen led a boarding team onto the largest supply vessel, teleporting through shields, materializing inside the cargo hold, crates of weapons and fuel surrounding them. Alien guards patrolling with blasters ready. Humans moved carefully, neutralizing threats with minimal noise, every step bringing them closer to their goal. Meanwhile, Mara coordinated orbital strikes, larger cruisers firing heavy plasma cannons, hitting enemy reinforcements before they could engage. Beams tore through hulls, explosions rocking ships, alien captains screaming orders. But human attacks were too fast, too precise. They could not respond in time, the tide of battle shifting toward humanity. Jalen's team hacked into the supply vessel's systems, redirecting engines, disabling weapons, opening hangar bays to release captured drones against enemy forces. The aliens were caught off guard, unable to adapt quickly. Chaos spreading through their ranks, humans exploiting every weakness, every opening, turning desperation into opportunity. Outside, space erupted in a violent dance of light and fire, human fighters darting between massive cruisers, missiles streaking across darkness, lasers cutting through enemy hulls, explosions illuminating the nebula, the battle, a mix of chaos and precision. Every human knowing their role, every strike carefully planned, morale high despite danger. Jalen's squad planted charges in the engine core, retreating as the countdown began, the entire ship shaking as explosives detonated, systems failing, power lost, enemy ships unable to move or defend. Mara's fleet moved in to destroy what remained, leaving only wreckage drifting through the nebula. Humans victorious once again, but weary from constant battle. As they regrouped, reports came in from other sectors. Human operations striking deep, disrupting supply lines, freeing colonies, and capturing enemy technology. The Empire struggling to respond, stretched thin, their forces scattered, human victories mounting, the galaxy beginning to whisper the word, unstoppable. Whenever humans were mentioned, Mara addressed her fleet. Today we have shown that humans are not just fighters, we are strategists, explorers, and liberators. Every action we take echoes across the stars, every victory a step toward freedom. Her words carried weight, inspiring every soldier, every pilot, every engineer, reminding them that their fight was for more than survival. It was for the galaxy itself. Jalen looked out from the cockpit, nebula clouds swirling around distant stars, feeling a mixture of pride and exhaustion. Humans had struck hard and fast, leaving no doubt about their capability. Every victory proving that courage, unity, and intelligence could overcome even the most advanced enemies, and that the human spirit was unbreakable. Alien commanders convened in their damaged fleets, panic evident, losses mounting, their carefully planned strategies failing repeatedly, human tactics unpredictable, relentless, impossible to contain. They realized the war had changed. The humans had become more than a threat. They were a force to be feared, respected, and studied. Back on the flagship, Mara watched the stars, the calm after the storm settling over her fleet, knowing that this victory was only the beginning. Intelligence gathered, supplies captured, and morale strengthened. Humans were ready for the next challenge, no matter how dangerous, no matter how impossible it seemed. As the fleet prepared for the next jump, humans spoke quietly among themselves, sharing stories of bravery, of friends lost and victories won. Every voice a reminder that they were part of something bigger, something that would change the galaxy forever. Humanity rising together, fearless, united, and strong. Jalen's team debriefed in the mess hall, wounds patched, spirits high, everyone knowing that their actions today would be remembered, every mission shaping the story of human resistance, a story that would echo across the stars, proving that no empire could crush the will of humanity, and that the war was theirs to win. Mara's final words before the next jump resonated through the fleet. The galaxy underestimates us at every turn, but we have proven that courage, strategy, and unity make humans unstoppable. We will continue to fight, to protect, and to claim our place among the stars. Her words ignited hope, determination, and pride in every human heart. As the fleet disappeared into the darkness, ready for the next battle, one truth became clear. Humans would not be defeated. Not now, not ever. Their courage a beacon, their unity unbreakable. The war for the galaxy had reached a turning point, and humanity was leading the charge, unstoppable and eternal.